Hi there, my name is Vincent Huins, and today I would like to use Power BI to do analysis on the makeup data to analyze the performance of the companies on their profitabilities and revenue, also that look deeper into a different dimensions such as regions, orders, priorities, and the processing time between each order. So hopefully this one will give you some idea how we could approach the problem, and we can use leverage a lot of different function of Power BI. In this one, I will not go on the detail how I build it or the function and the tricks that I use for it, because some of that is I have to use a very technical tricks that in order to overcome the limitation of the Power BI, especially like the first graph right here. It's look very simple, but it's actually require a little bit tricky in order to do it. So on the first tab, what I want to show is that we want to do analyze on the revenue and profit based quarterlies of these companies. On owner page or report or dashboard I build, I always try to do it dynamic as much as possible so that the user can actually choose whatever they want to analyze or look at in the futures. There's three selections for this page, and on the data source, when I start with this one, I have 100 record data and 500 record data for testing. This button right here, this filters right here allows you to switch on different data source. And the periods will be the periods that we want to be observed, and we want to measure that against the last eight quarters that we choose. Uh, the last quarters for this data is 2017 Q3. As you see that if I changing this, everything will update as well as the title and the everything else. And the measurements is that we have two measurements is like profit and revenues. I feel like it's a repeated task if I just have both profit and revenue in one page. In some analysis, you would like to do it, but for the particular report and how complexity and information we want to deliver is a little bit too much for the end user to observe. And I usually go with when I design stuff, I want to try to uh, move away as much as possible using the table to display the data unless it's too complex to display um, by using charts. So as the first objective of this one, we will use this chart right here to show the trendings of the 8 quarters, running 8 quarters based on the quarters that we will should pick up here on the performance on the revenue or profits that we're looking at. For example, I can switch to profit as well here. And you see the number, title, everything up there as well. At the right hand side, it's just a nice visuals for the executive to look at to see the proportion breaking down for profits based on the regions or by the item type. It's very easy for them to capture. For some people, they prefer to see pictures more than look reading the word. But if the people like myself want to deep dive into the numbers, here is the presentation down here. Again, this side right here will show you a percentage proportion of each item to the bigger pipe. This is the 4 quarters, the last quarter that we have. Of course, we are trying analysis on eight different data set, but it doesn't make sense for me to show the 8 quarter together because it's just number. It's really hard to do the math in your head, or it's just a little bit too much for you to understand what's going on. So rather than do that, I just use the most current quarters and calculate up the performance using the corresponding quarter here. Of course, you can dynamically use colors to flag which one is above, is to get better with is a blue color here, and the red is at below compared to the corresponding quarter. And on the last one is I just combining everything together for 12-month running quarter or 4 running quarters here, and of course compare with the previous year as well. As you see, the Q3 is not complete, so that's why the number is quite low here. Anyways, moving on from this one, we can go to the next page. And this one is the best for performance page. So what in this one right here, we want to look at on 3 different measures is a number of sale, revenues, and profit. We want to break it down by region and country as well. Again, in on this one, I try to do it on as much visual as much possible so that it's easy for some end user to capture it. On the top right here, uh, uh, you is a number of sales and the revenue and profit in the next one. On this one, the same thing is we have 3 filter here. The first 2 are very similar, but moving away from choosing the quarter. On this one, we specifically look at the fiscal years, which is starting from January. I assuming that is the fiscal year for this companies, by to the end of the Decembers. On this one right here, user can actually choose a different fiscal year as the latest fiscal year they want to do analysis, and they have the option to choose the intervals. In this one, I choose 5-year intervals to do get all the numbers and do a calculation. But you can narrow it down to 3 years or even one specific years. As you see that when I'm changing it, the title are changing as well. So this one I look at specifically only 2016 data and whatever's present will change with it. So pretty much very dynamic, so user can actually take a look. And again, the star as I explained, full star is the top 33 percentiles, and then moving next to the next 33 percentiles, and the empty one is just the last one. Um, and we can move to the next one is the global trends. In this one right here, we get a little bit deep dive into it. Again, the filters is exactly the same. We can actually choose intervals for how many years that we want to carry on because why not? Because some people will want to see the training here. In this one, because the kind of data is kind of a little bit crowded and a lot of things. I think in this one we can actually put some graph into it, but it might be a little bit messy for people to see it. So the top ones is I show the firm levels. Why I have the firm levels? Because uh, we would like to use it at the base to for any comparisons when we look at the item type, because in the bottom down here, whatever here will allow us to drill down on specific on the item type, or on the region or the country as well. Just before I go to the next step, I just want to show you what we show up here. Right at the back, we will look at the number of orders what we have, and the order usually have 4 types. Status is criticals, high, mediums, and low. We show the percentage of those make up the orders, the number of orders, and the number associated with it. Move to the next one, we look at the number of sales and also we look at the revenue and profit as well. Some people they would like to see a cost on the margin on this one, but some executive they just want to care for the profit. That could be good enough. So move apart from the firm level, which will not be changing after if I change the bottom to filter here. But it will change itself if I change the selection on the top. So for example, I can choose look at 3 years period as well. So that's allow us to look at the number a little bit more. Uh, well, there's a little bit I had to fix on the display because it's a little bit too much. So it's we cover the numbers. But anyway, that's not a big deal. Anyway, let's move back to one for now. Look nicer. Okay, so go down on the filter down here. So you can look at You can drill down here by click on this one, and it will actually show you the orders by the region, and then keep drilling down on the countryside, on the country within the on the region or the uh, pretty much you can uh, look at this one, but it might be a little bit too hard to see it if the we look at Asian, and Asian is it's you have to drill down on every single item here. Then we could choose the Asian here, and pretty much everything inside for the item for the item type is only only Asian, and by doing so, you'll be able to analysis on the specific Asian on the dynamic types and what is their performance. And as I say, this is very nice to have if we have the firm level unchanged, so you can quickly comparison. Use eyeballs to comparison with the top. It's much easier, and of course, you can actually drill down into the country here by select it or multiple select different item if you want to do comparison. So it's very dynamic and it's very flexible for you to do to look at stuff. Or you can actually clear this one and it would not be that much. Or if you see this one is a little bit too much to see and you only focus on one specific items, you can actually pick out one item and uh, it's only show one item, and of course you can drill down and mixtures on the filter at the same time if we want to look into this deeper into it, deeper analysis on this. Okay, so move away from global trends. I want to do the last piece that we have is the prioritize. So prioritize again, we have the filter on top here. Three of them is exactly the same, like the previous page, and we can also look at several years, a period of years together. Prioritize, as I mentioned on a previous page, we have four different um, prioritize, starting from criticals, uh, highs, medium, and low. And the first graph right here is allow us to do a trendings on the average processing time based on a different criticals type, which allow us to see the increase or decrease on this analysis. At the bottom right here, I just grabbed the distributions on the different critical uh, prioritize of the orders because this data is a makeup data. It's not a very nice distribution. It just pretty much is like uniform distribution, kind of uniform distribution across. But anyways, just hang in there. It doesn't matter. Uh, While you're on the work on this one, one of the thing is kind of challenge is that the box plot or the violent function for Power BI is not a best way to demonstrate the distribution if your data is quite large because it will take a subset, a sample of your data and try to drop it. Performance and the speed is extremely slow. It can freeze your page. So I not recommend you to use a box plot here, even though that would be a nice option to have. If you want to go with that one, I would refer you to use Python with the graph from Seaborn or whatever. So it would be very easy to graph the box plot with over 500,000 record. That's much better option if we want to deep dive on the distribution. But anyways, this one this would be easier to do anyways. So on the right hand side, again we break down on the the priorities by criticals, highs, medium, and low. I show the average of the orders get processed. Again, all everything titles we will check according to what we have. And in the bottom, top one we show by regions, but in the bottom we will look at by the item type. Also, I add the two region here because we can dissect the data a little bit more if we want to go look deeper. So, for example, if I choose Asian here, of course, uh, uh, we will see that uh, did I choose multiple? Oh, oh, okay, sorry. I didn't choose correctly. Okay, I choose Asian here. Of course, then the top one we only present Asian region. But also it also impact in the bottom as well because this one is the distribution, how the trendings of this item specifically for Asian. It's not mixtures with other regions. And also everything will get updated. The distribution graph and the trendings is actually update as well. So on this one, you see that the low prioritize actually increase in the process time. It's not much because it's just a makeup data, but it's give you some kind of idea for doing the training. And if you want to expand it to 7 years, feel free to do that. It's give you a very dynamics on your analysis as well. Um, and then if you want to make choice between Asian and others, you can pick up several items by holding control and pick up the first threes, maybe food, beverage, cereals. Uh, how did I clear it? Oh no, I didn't clear it. Let me clear it. Something is not right. Uh, there we go. That is weird. This is only on Asian out of three items, and the distribution here is based on the three items that we select as well. So it gives you a lot of flexible to do it, but of course, if you do a deep dive analysis, more advanced and more robust, Power BI is not a nice tool to do it. Python would be more for you to dissect the data more if you do data analysis or looking for specific trending on your data. But this is a very nice visuals for end users to actually, especially executive EOs for executive or directors uh, senior levels to look at to see the trending and where we're at right now. So hopefully this will demonstrate you a little bit on how Power BI can leverage data to show and let us to dissect into data with into the data and with a very dynamic way and also that with the nice visuals and very detailed on the measurement as well. All of this stuff, of course, we can, if you know SQL, you can do it, write it, and do it really fast. Uh, but if you want to dissect and mix and match all the different measurement filters, Power BI is more is much easier for you to use than Python and others. So hopefully this concludes a little bit and give you some idea what it can be done. Bye bye.